Hey guys, it's Kimberly from the Fat Quarter Shop, and I'm here with Rachel from Just Another Button Company, and they have awesome buttons. So we thought we would show you how to put together the Lazy Girl Designs button boats. So let's get started. So to start, of course, we're going to start with buttons. We've got our snack packs in Peachy Keen, White Wedding, Teal for Two, and Ocean. And so that's just like a cute variety, what we're working with today. We've got Aura Floss thread to attach the buttons. And of course, this design is by Joan Hawley of Lazy Girl Designs, and her pattern is button boats. So you definitely need that to make this. We've got her Stiff Stuff Craft Pack that's also by Lazy Girl Designs, and Fusey Bond Light that's also by Lazy Girl Designs. And we are using Nest Fabric today by Vanessa Gertzen for Moda. So let's get started.
Okay, so I'm going to start the video with these 3 zigzagged planks. Plank is a term that's used in the Lazy Girl pattern. It's the name for this shape. Each button boat is made of 3 of these. So you'll follow the instructions that are in the pattern for zigzagging your edges. It gives it a nice clean finish. Now this piece is actually made of 2 prints, one on the front and one on the back, and in between is a layer of stiff stuff. So you put fusible on each of your fabrics and you sandwich it with a layer of stiff stuff in the middle. Then you cut your pieces and you zigzag the edges. Part of the fun of making a button boat is choosing which fabrics you're going to have showing in your button boat. So this is the one that we're working on right now. So you can see how you have coordinating fabric on the inside. You arrange your planks according to what you want your finished button boat to look like. So this is going to be the outside fabric, and I'm going to flip my other piece so that when I fold up my boat, I see the floral print on the outside and the geometric print on the inside. Now I'm going to make the markings on the pieces so that I know how to assemble them. So on the 2 outside planks, I'm going to be marking 3/8 of an inch from the inner edge. And I'm going to mark 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to do the same thing on the other outside plank. And on the center plank, I'm going to mark 2.5 inches from each end. These lines are going to help me figure out how to put the pieces together to assemble my boat. Okay, so now we're ready to put the pieces together. Now there's a great trick for holding the pieces in place before you sew them, and that is using tape. So I'm going to overlap the center, and just so that I barely cover the line that I just made, and I'm going to use the grid on the table to make sure that the ends are all lined up square. And then you're going to apply tape across all 3 planks. This is where we attach all 3 pieces. So you're going to sew from the 2.5 inch mark to the other 2.5 inch mark along this edge, right next to the zigzag stitching on both sides. This one is already sewn, as you can see. If we flip it over, you can see the stitching on the other side. Now this is really cool because when you fold your button boat up, those little seam allowances make feet on the bottom of the boat. So the next step is to attach the buttons, and that's my favorite part. Alright, so it's time to pick out the buttons for this button boat. We're using buttons from the Just Another Button Company snack packs. This pack is great because it's 2 shades in one pack, and there's also 2 styles to pick from. So I've pulled out 4 different packs, and I want to audition my buttons on my fabrics. So the way I do that is I actually lay them on top of the fabric because you don't really know what a button's going to look like until you lay it on top of the fabric. So I'm going to lay out these 2 Peachy Keen buttons, and these 2 Teal for Two buttons, and these 2 Ocean buttons, and these 2 White Wedding buttons. And I'm going to discard my least favorites first. I really like the way the White Wedding pops out, and I really like the way the Peachy Keen pops out, but I'm a fan of color, so I'm going to discard the White Wedding. And I think I like the biggest shape best. The next step is finding the button placement. So you're going to put buttons on each of the outside planks, 1 on each end. And you're going to do that 1 inch from the end of the plank. And I know that my button center is going to end up right there at that point. And it looks really nice and evenly placed to me. So I'm going to tape it in place so that it will end up in just the spot that I like it. And then I'll repeat with the rest of the button pack. So you're going to end up with 4 buttons all together. Check out the video on the Fat Quarter Shop YouTube channel on how to attach a button by machine, and that will help you with this next step. All right, so the last step is attaching the ties that we're going to hold our button boat closed with. So I'm going to measure out about 12 inches of this Orifloss, and I'm going to cut 2 lengths, one for each side. And this is super simple. I'm just going to tie it around my button. So tuck it behind the button, make a simple knot, and then you can either clip the tail, leave the tail loose, or wrap the tail around your button. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side of the boat. Another great thing about snack packs is they have enough buttons to do 2 button boats. Okay, and now I'm ready to construct my boat. So I'm going to fold the middle up toward me and cross the ends so they overlap. And then I'm going to take my tie back and forth and loop it around the buttons to give the button boat its shape. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite end. You can do it loose if you like a wider boat, or you can do it tight if you like a narrow boat. I like mine a little wide, so that's what I go for. You can use these in your sewing room, in your kitchen, on your desk to hold all your supplies, and it makes a great place to store buttons.